Good evening, voters. Tonight, before we move on to the big debate on the last word, there is something that I need to highlight and address. Time and again, political parties and governments have attempted to take away the freedom of press. This time, it is the left government led by Pinarayi Vijayan. Kerala's chief minister doesn't want to take questions from the press. It seems he doesn't even want his ministers or top babus to be held accountable. The only time they want any interaction to take place is either through press conferences, where they get to decide the agenda, or through the Information and Public Relations Department. So basically, you cannot put a mic to a minister's face or to a babu and ask a question. They will decide what they want to address. What else explains the decision to curb media movement in government offices and access to the mantris? Now, he's not the only one who's trying this stunt. H.D. Kumaraswamy government attempted a similar curb on media as soon as they came to power earlier this year. They later withdrew this order, obviously because of the outrage. The previous Rajasthan government went ahead one more step. They tried to stop the media from reporting on complaints and allegations against babus unless the government ordered a probe. Outrage forced Rajya government to withdraw that proposal, put it in the cold storage. But why do governments time and again attempt to gag and chain the media? I want you to think about it. India is amongst the deadliest nations for journalists, and we are not even in a conflict zone. So for every single time that somebody out there abuses the Indian media and the journalists, think about the kind of environment that our governments and political parties are attempting to create every single minute in this country. I just wanted to bring this to your notice. And on the Kerala angle, I'm quickly going to go across to Mr. B. Srijan, the Metro Editor for TOI in Trivandrum. Mr. Srijan, thank you for joining us. Mr. Srijan, this is really odd. That circular that came over a month ago, the Editors Guild has today come out and condemned that circular. What's happening? What is this friction between the media and the Kerala government right now?
Well, physically, as of now, there is no friction or no exchange of words or nothing like that. So this order came as a bolt from the blue. It was issued on November 15, and nobody was aware of such an order. There was no discussion. What we expect normally is that if they want to regulate the activities, or the motto of this order is just to achieve some discipline. Because there are some security breaches from part of the journalists while taking the bites and all. Those were mentioned as the reason for issuing such an order. But for an argument's sake, even if we believe that, so the normal course would be to have a discussion with the editors and all to reach out a solution for that issue. So no such consultation was made. On a fine morning, there was such an order was issued, and the interesting part is that the order was issued by the Home Secretary, Additional Chief Secretary in charge of Home Department, not INPRD Department. All other communication regarding the media are from INPRD Department. But this particular order was issued by the Home Department, and what I came to know that even the PRD officials were totally unaware of such an order. So this order specifically states it is like a code of conduct journalists had to follow, how to approach ministers for a bite and all. So it is strictly forbidden. You can't directly approach the minister for a bite. You can directly contact any secretary or any IAS, IPS officer for a bite. You only need to contact the PRD official concerned. There is an information officer in every district, and there are information officers for all departments. You have to put your request through them for getting a version of the government on all these things. So all these were mentioned. And what was the most interesting part of that order, which I still remember, towards the end of the order, there is a remark that officials interacting directly with media should be dissuaded. So that these officials will in turn to be the sources of media, and they will then generate negative reporting about government. So this has to be dissuaded, and all officials should be warned against interacting with the media. That was written in that order. So that is the most dangerous part of that order that I see. So
Yes.
this is what is the original aim of the government. We need to suspect because they don't want officials to directly interact with media. They don't want any negative news of the government to be published. So that is the real motto. Even though they say peripherally the discipline or security and all is the issue,
Yes.
the real motto we need to
So
suspect
let
that
me ask that question.
they have to put a wall between journalists and the government.
And one wonders why. What is it that Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan doesn't want to answer? What is it that he's shielding his ministers from? And for a party that's constantly attacking the centre and alleging and accusing them of running a dictatorial government in this country, what is it that the left government is doing in Kerala now? Mr. Sunit Chopra, why are journalists now security threats in the state of Kerala?
Not at all. In fact, our government is one of the more journalist-friendly governments in the country. There are two things. I'm sorry, I have been very busy, so I could not check up on this. But I can tell you one thing. There are two things that surprise me. One, that it should have come from the Ministry of Home. And I think there should be an inquiry on who got this bureaucrat from the Ministry of Home to bring this order out. Because I believe many strange things can happen today. Secondly, for over a month, nobody knew about it. So
Well,
I want to know, how was this leafed in?
Mr. Chopra, I know you tend to see a conspiracy everywhere.
And the second thing is,
But let me apprise you of some more facts here.
about security leaks.
Let me apprise you of some more facts here, Mr. Chopra.
Must be inquired into, and those who have made them must be punished.
Well, the one who will do the inquiry will be the Kerala government and its home department. That is where the order has come from. Secondly, when the order came, there was a massive outrage forcing the chief minister to even address this in the assembly. Since then, it's been 15 more days, a month since the order came, and the Kerala government, while knowing about it, the chief minister, while knowing about it, has not done anything on paper. There is no withdrawal of this circular. Well, how do you explain that?
I'm sure that I'll have to check on the circular, because I think that the circular that remains silent for a month is clearly a leaf-in. And the person who leafed it in should be punished. Simple.
Well,
I mean, it's clear.
let me ask Mr. Srijan. Mr. Srijan, has the media now raised this with the government? And what has been the response from the state?
Yeah. No, what has happened is it is not correct to say that it was remaining a secret for all these days. Soon after November 15, the order was issued on November 15. I think November 16 or 17, media came to know about the order, and it was widely reported in the media here also. In the following week, when there was the assembly session, the opposition raised this issue in the assembly, and Chief Minister replied on the floor of the House also. Then his reply was what I said in my earlier said earlier, that all these restrictions, these are not restrictions, just simple disciplinary method for the sake of security. And again, when opposition pointed out the other provisions which are infringement of media freedom, the chief minister promised that these order will be reviewed. And what now I came to know from the government is that they have directed the home department to review the order, and the process of review is going on, but the earlier order was not withdrawn, or an amended order is yet to be issued. They have been,
Yes, and one wonders why does it take
order
15
and
days?
agree with
suggest
Mr.
whether any
Srijan.
amendment is to be made.
Why does it take 15 days, Mr. Chopra, to review such a ridiculous order?
Why are you pretending that no such thing happens?
Because you have not taken any action. It's a ridiculous order. Just do away with it, withdraw it, nullify it. That's that. Pull up the Babu who did it if your ministers didn't know about it. No, sir. Mr. Chopra.
To meet the government and ensure the review. Who else will ask for review?
Well, you can.
When we talk of minimum wage,
Are you telling us that rather than doing our job, which is reporting on events, you want us to now go around, running around the government, reminding them how to do their job?
It should go to the chief minister.
Well, all I can tell you is, since you didn't know much about this issue, that you, Mr. Sunit Chopra, need to go back to your political party leaders and remind them what has to be done. It's been a month. Association after association of the media has come out and pointed this out. Empty assurances are not going to do anything else. Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan needs to make it clear now and needs to withdraw this order now. There is no delay. You cannot curb the freedom of the press. We will ask you questions. And we will demand accountability, be it the chief minister, be it his ministers or the Babu officials across the country. And for a government and for a party that all the time accuses the other side, it is really disappointing that such an order has come in Kerala. Mr. Shrijan, thank you so much for joining us. Sunit Chopra, thank you for taking our call.